101.3 MyFM in the morning. We are back live on Facebook. It is 8:11, and we have our guest, State Representative Mike Soter, joining us. What's up, Mike? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you last couple of weeks? Busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy, and it's going to
Yeah.
get even crazier this week. We spent most of the weekend, well, from Thursday on, the announcement on the vaccines for 75 and older.
Yeah.
We started helping seniors. It was a little bit of a rough start, still a little bit iffy because so everybody has to understand, what's happening is all the allotment of these vaccines are controlled by the federal government.
Yeah.
So some people, like private universities and things like that, are buying vaccines, but you also got the federal government buying it, state procuring all their vaccines through the federal government because these vaccines technically are free, and even though they are collecting insurance information, I think they're going to try to get the insurance companies to pick up some of the cost. I'm really not
Can you really do
100%.
that after the fact?
I mean, you announced they were going to be free. I don't know why you need insurance information, but
Right.
I've been pushing back a little bit on that, saying, why are we even asking for this? I think
Hmm.
it's more of a verification piece, I think, than anything. But we're going to keep a close eye on that to make sure that people aren't getting turned away because the insurance companies aren't
Yeah.
paying for it, or they get a bill because they did it. But we were told that these would all be free. So we did address that with the administration this week. I had a great conversation with the governor and lieutenant governor on it. The vaccines are going to start ramping up, more and more appointments. I see it already. This past weekend, all weekend, I was like the madman behind the computer. Generally speaking, in the middle of the night is the best time to really get these appointments because less and less people are doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so we were able to help people through and navigate in the middle of the night, gather appointments. So we booked our alone. Myself, I did it because Eric is concentrating on unemployment stuff.
Hmm.
Um, we booked well over 150 appointments
Wow.
for folks. Yeah, so there is really no need to pay LeBron James $500 million to say go get a vaccine. I think everybody who wants it, and let me make
Yeah.
that very clear. If you want it, it's a choice, and
Sure.
it should remain that way. And if you want it, great. My feeling is at this pace, Massachusetts will have, as we start ramping up, my firm belief is, as we always are, Massachusetts will have the highest vaccination rate in the country when it's all said and done, just like they do on every other vaccine that we have out there. We have a very small percentage of people who have exemptions,
Hmm.
um, and people who don't want to take that. And even on the flu vaccine, I don't take that myself, but like I've said publicly, I've talked to 4 of my doctors, and I am not endorsing it either way. This is your choice.
Yeah.
But I've done my homework. I've seen what my friends have gone through that have had it. I've seen the loss of life to 2 dear friends, one just this past weekend.
Oh, so sorry to
Um,
hear that.
and this is a real virus,
Yeah.
and so it's scary. So it made me, and some of the repercussions that I'm having from it, believe it or not. I mean, last week I had to go to the doctor because I wasn't feeling right, and I had to
Mm.
get on an inhaler. So it
Mm.
does have some lingering effects. Same thing with my mom. I mean, it does have some lingering effects. So if this vaccine does what it says it does, and it seems like we have 26.5 million people vaccinated already in the
Yeah.
country. Very small issues that we're hearing, a few other things that people are investigating, but nothing on a major scale, which is good news
Yeah.
right now. And I keep my fingers crossed that stays that way. And let's pray that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine gets approved in the next week or so, which is a
Yeah.
one shot, 85% effective, which is still a high, good effective rate. Doesn't need to be refrigerated, easy to ship, get out there faster. If we keep going at this pace, I know it seems like we're at a rocky start here, and we are. I mean,
Yeah.
we moved at a fast, not to use previous administration's terminology, but we did move at warp speed
Yeah.
on a vaccine. And I'm a little bit disheartened that we knew this was coming, and we have a better plan federally.
Right.
But this governor, I have to say. We have a lot of back and forth, critique over the economy, and how he's handling that piece of it. This governor is busting his butt to get
Yeah.
vaccines here because that's what's holding it up. It's not
Right.
his plan; it's the amount of vaccines. And as they come in, then the appointments open up. So,
Well, if he gets all the vaccines, if he does that, which he's working hard, like you said, then he can ease up on all the restrictions for the businesses, which I'm sure he wants to do.
right.
But the
But
guy
there's
is
some good
probably
news coming on that. There's some good
oh,
news
good,
coming on
good.
that.
All right. Well, what's that?
Well, I think we're going to see some announcements and loosening of more of these restrictions. They're in the numbers. If you've seen the numbers, they're coming down. They're very positive. The biggest thing the governor constantly looks at is the death rate and the rate that people are actually, they recover, the recovery
Okay.
rate.
Yep.
So that's the big thing that the governor is looking at. And we had a meeting with him yesterday, and him and the lieutenant governor, who is in charge of, really pushing the administration and evaluating all this information, making high recommendations. I think we're going to see some announcements this week that are going to take effect on Monday, which will start the loosening up, and maybe we can get some of these things like urban air and some of these other places open again. We got to get the kids back in school.
Sure.
Pool testing. Look at, I know there's going to be teachers out there that are going to be upset at what I have to say. Children are, I think the teachers unions are pushing back a little bit, saying, well, we don't want to go back until the kids are vaccinated. There's a reason why this vaccination is not for children under 16. They don't carry it like we do. They don't spread it like we do. There's very small issues out there of where you're seeing kids getting it and they, suffering very severe side effects from the COVID-19 illness.
Yeah.
The governor's right on this one. We got to get back to school. The pool testing, the plans that we're putting out there, the school's administration should be using those, getting these kids back and salvaging what we can. It's time to get us back to school. It's time to get us back in learning. If one of the things that I said all along is you have all these nursing home workers, these doctors, these nurses, all these people who are around people that are infected, that can pass it to one another. They've been doing it. And I think we just need to now realize the hurt and the long-term effects of these children not being back into school full time is going to be detrimental for years to come, not just months to come, for years to come. One year, March 15th is when we shut the schools down. Okay. And all I have to say is in that 1 year, we've lost generations of learning. Oof. And you don't think that is a problem. It is. And the teachers unions need to stop with this pushback and realize their focus is these kids. And we got to get these kids back. Parents understand, there are risks. And there, it's a risk for someone like me to send my daughter to school with a bunch of people when I have a mother at home that could be sick.
I'm in the same boat myself, and it is, but we want our kids back in school. I just wish the teachers were considered for the vaccine a little earlier.
They are going to be, and the next, and right, and look at the here are the facts of what we've learned about this virus. If you're 65 and over, you are the most critical of the population of this virus. When you look at all the data, and I share the data every single week, 65 and over, and especially those with pre-existing illnesses, are the highest at risk. If we don't secure that population, we do have people under 65 that are getting it, and they are going into the hospital. My friend that I lost this past weekend was 53. Okay, but the amount of people in that bracket is so small. The recovery rate is so small. The risk and there's so many things that we've learned about the virus that, do we have to make some adjustments in some of the careers that we work in? Nurses and doctors, they've had no life for a whole year because they
absolutely.
go from the hospital to their homes,
Yeah.
hospital to homes.
Yeah.
They didn't have the luxuries of everything that we were wanting, going to a restaurant. You don't think they would love to be out and going to restaurants
Yeah.
and doing those things? But they know the risk. They kept their risk in their bubble. A lot of us have done that. That career is one of those things that, yeah, you're going to have to make some adjustments in your private life.
Right.
But we all have made sacrifices in all of our careers over this past year. So, there's got to be this happy medium. We got to get these kids back in school. Otherwise, we're going to lose, so much. We've already lost it. We got to get it back. My
when you
daughter
say
every day says, when the hell am I mean, my daughter is in a situation that's different. But I was with kids last week, and they all said the same thing. We want to go back to school.
Yeah, and you're saying full time. Because right now a lot of kids are doing the hybrid.
Full time.
Might as well just do it. Yeah.
Right. And let's give if a teacher who is a high risk, we should make we should have them. They shouldn't lose their jobs. They shouldn't lose their pay. They shouldn't lose their life because we're going back full time. We should make accommodations for those teachers. Whether it's keeping them on the payroll until they can get vaccinated, or until we get them vaccinated. Teachers in the next couple of weeks here are going to get vaccinated. But you know what bothers me, Ray, is a lot of those teachers say they're not going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And so, and we're not going to make it mandatory to go back to work because we can't. So what are we going to do? I mean, it's not just, and Ray, it's just not here in Milford or Bellingham.
No, it's everywhere.
Look at Chicago.
It's Chicago.
Look what Chicago's going through.
What's happened in Chicago in the last day or two? I haven't seen the news in the last day or two.
Well, the mayor's blaming, the last administration for her woes and all this stuff. Yeah. And it's like, he has nothing to do with your negotiations with your local and state union.
Right,
so, even the CDC, even Joe Biden embraced the CDC's plan to go back to school. And all these teachers voted for Joe Biden.
Did the teachers end up striking? Because that was a concern a day ago.
I think they were pushing back, and then she's now stepped back. And, it's just, what's going to happen is teachers are going to lose the confidence of the parents who they always have had the confidence of. And, we have to get back. And I want to make it very clear. I know teachers work hard. My sister-in-law busts her butt every single day. Yeah. She's an awesome teacher. She's dedicated. I know that there are a lot of teachers I talk to who say, I'm ready to go back. I mean, a lot of these teachers, hey, if the private schools could go back in August, and you know how many problems we've had in the private schools, Ray?
How many?
Not hardly less than 1%.
Right.
Less than 1%. And most of those were over holidays and people having big group gatherings. So what are we doing here? I mean, they're not in a different bubble. They're not in a protective COVID bubble from the virus. We're all in this together. Yeah. We have this pool testing program is huge. It will right away give the schools the support and everything they need to isolate any issues that are out there.
Yeah, so for pool testing, if people don't know what that is a group of individuals being tested at the same time, all in the same vial. And then from those vials, maybe there's 10 out of a school. And they're like, oh, this group, somebody has it. And then they can go and they can pinpoint who has it. But instead of giving out 500 tests, now they can just do 10 tests. It's a money saver, and it's very effective from what I understand.
It's very effective. Now, someone like my daughter who's already had it probably won't test positive anymore because it's been about 60 days. But I mean, there are going to be some of those situations. But, the great thing about it is we know we know it works. We know it's effective, and the administration is ready to do it. And the call we had with him yesterday, the concern is even if the vaccine was available for teachers tomorrow, we're not 100. They were quoted in the Boston Herald. They're even saying if they took and they retract, they're trying to step back from it now. Yeah. The state MTA. So, look, I'm not against the teachers. I'm not. I just want to make it very clear. I want to keep them safe as possible. But the kids aren't giving you the virus. It's the other adults in that school that are going to give you the virus faster than they're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
They contract it. Very rarely do we see children giving it to other people. But there is a risk. Absolutely.
Sure. But let's remember that at the end of the day, this is all about the children and the betterment
Exactly.
of the youth and
The
what
minds.
we can do for them.
We've got, Ray, there's more kids depressed and suicidal in the state and the country right now because of all these issues of not being back in school. And everybody can disagree or argue with that and say, well, that's issues that they've had. No, for the last year, you've turned their world upside down. We've taken everything away from them. A lot of kids need that sense of interaction and learning and being successful. That's what makes us all successful in life. Sitting behind a computer and trying to learn is very frustrating for these kids. Very frustrating for these kids. I know. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And especially the ones that are having trouble in school, IEPs and things like that. My God, you know how far behind they are? I mean, and we're all trying to do our part as parents. We're trying to keep things going. If we're not working, we're not paying taxes. Well, guess what? Then there is no schools,
Right.
because, we've got to be in this, everybody wants to talk about unity and bringing this together. The one missing link has been the schools.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to cross that bridge to interlock them, to get them done. In my district, I have to say they've done some great things, but now is the time to take it to the next step. Yeah. Everything that they've implemented, they've done. They've got the strategies. They've got the plans. Let's have some confidence in these administrations that they know what they're doing. And we're there. I'm fired up today, but I am excited. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I feel it, Ray.
Good. We'll hear
I'm
some.
Excited. I just want to let people know real quick. And the next time we meet, the bills will be filed in 2 weeks. But I did file 2 very small small business bills that I'm pushing for businesses 4 million and under with 50 or less employees to really give them some rejuvenated energy and some money on sales tax and meals tax to really invest in capital. The grants are wonderful. They're working and helping, but we need real money to get these folks back to work, get people back to work and get their companies going again. And I'm hoping my colleagues will support it and we can pass it.
Good. Well, we look forward to talking that in a couple of weeks. And thank you so much for your dedication to your district and the Commonwealth. We appreciate it. And thanks for the updates with the governor. And we look forward to hearing some of those announcements this week.
Website, soterrep.com. You got a link for DUI because a lot of people are getting fraudulent 1099s. Please go to my website to link on that. You need to fill out those paperworks and file police reports. And the vaccine link is there to stop making appointments. And as we move on, that link will stay there and you'll keep having it. And we're going to post the 1-800 number also once that call center is set up for the state.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks, Mike.
Man. Thanks, pal.
Take care.
See ya. Bye.